Silk, the queen of textiles, is a new multi-million-dollar industry now blooming in Kenya. Sericulture is the practice of rearing silkworms for the production of raw silk. It all begins with the leaf. The humble mulberry tree is the exclusive and essential food source for the silkworm. Its cultivation, known as Moriculture, is the foundation of this lucrative agribusiness. Join us to see how the silkworm's 28-day cycle transforms leaves into a continuous 1,200-meter fiber, positioning Kenyan silk for the export market.
This is our mulberry forest. This is where we grow our mulberry trees because silkworms only eat mulberry trees. They are called different things in various languages. The most common one in Bantu languages is Ndare. So at Silk Origin, we went into deep research onto some of the organic materials that are very necessary in the world, but not produced enough of. And silk, the origin of silk propagation is in China. And we looked at their weather patterns. They do not have the soil, the sun, the labor to be able to do it all year round. And we saw that as an opportunity for us to pick. And we went into large-scale farming of the trees you see around you, and also into research onto the right mix of the worms, to the eggs that you get for the worms, the right type of the leaf of the tree that you get, that we come out with the correct value on the correct silk quality that we'd be looking for. So Silk Origin Limited has decided that it will try and be as organic as possible with this process. And therefore we prepare the land by using organic manure. And we will be able to prepare the entire piece of land. This is just one of the sections where we do this. And once the soil is ready, we plant this as cuttings. So the trees are planted as cuttings, and this tree is endemic to the region. It's very common. Even in most homes of your viewers, you'll find that this tree is very common because as children we ate the mulberries without knowing the true value. And therefore you let the tree grow slowly, organically, naturally. We try not to do a lot of chemical intervention. Even when faced with disease or pests, we try and look for organic ways to manage that, which means either sequestering crops that are affected, by pruning the leaves, which is what you found me trying to do here, so that you just make sure that the worm gets a very clean and natural product when it's getting to feed. And Silk Origin has partnered with various institutions, key of them being on this farm with the University of Nairobi, where we go into a collaborative partnership specifically for research to find out what more can be done with silk beyond its textile needs. We have gone into research into the biomedical space because silk is used for various uses, including the stitches that they use inside your system when they do surgery. Yeah? And that's why your body is able to absorb, because it's an organic compound. We've also found uses in the cosmetics space, and we are deepening the research into those two areas so that we can also do some value addition. And most importantly, once we scale this type of product, we are working with smallholder farmers because you can only grow so many trees. So we want to work with farmers where you get these trees, you plant them, knowing that we are going to offtake all the leaves that you produce. And then as we go along, we'll introduce you into smallholder silk farming, and give you guaranteed offtake of your product. And that's how you grow, one, the cash in the pockets of smallholder farmers, and also the money that is circulating around. Propagation of silk was always in the wild, and therefore the silkworm was domesticated so that it can be looked after just like cattle. It's a livestock like any other, and it goes through a 28-day life cycle where you get to feed the worm, and it moves from one stage to another until you end up with the cocoon that has the silkworm, which I'll show you later. Sericulture is a cultivation of the silkworms. It's a growing of the silkworms, and Moriculture is the cultivation of the trees to produce the mulberry leaves. And what we've done is to make sure that everybody understands that there is no wastage in both processes. So the leaves, the stem, the fruits, the roots, everything in a mulberry tree has uses. And when you go to silk, the silkworms themselves, the chrysalis, which is what is left inside when you open the pupa, the droppings themselves, all of them have uses. The droppings are extremely rich in protein and can be used for chicken feed, can also be brought back to the farm as manure. We also have uses for if you have broken cocoons, for instance, is what they use to stuff pillows with. It's also very good for facials because it is used in the facial cleansing process. So everything in silk has uses. And that's why we're encouraging farmers to partner with Silk Origin Limited, and we will show you how to grow this properly. We will offtake your product as we go along. We will give you the benefits of our research in exchange for you getting something in your pocket beyond the usual cash crops that are known to farmers. Curiosity is actually what is driving many farmers, but they want to see you do it and then show them how to do it with your own farm, as a model farm like this one, and then you walk them through, because none of them will want to do this process without some assistance. And this is why Silk Origin exists. We want to be the focal point of knowledge for farmers on how to do this properly so that our product is also acceptable in international markets. Silk farm is quite labor intensive because the leaves have to be picked fresh every morning, because the selection is a very key part of the process. And therefore we are very proud of our friends who we work with here to try and make sure that this the employment that is created is beneficial to everybody. The best thing about silk farming is that even with a small quarter-acre piece of land, one of the ways we try and encourage farmers to do it is to fence with a tree. All right, so you make it go around your compound, so you have permanent trees for where you can take the leaves to give to your worms. And when you have a small area, as you will see, where you put your worms, you can be able to run that operation without much capital outlay. So there's no need of investing in a fresh farm. All right, there's no need of going very, very large, but this can be able to get you a sustainable income because you know all your product is going to be taken by ourselves. Silkworms are voracious eaters, and therefore you need a constant supply of fresh, clean leaves. And as you've seen with the drought that was there, that was not an easy thing to do. So you must prepare your ecosystem to be ready for interventions as far as water is concerned. We have made our small dam to be able to supply our water pan, to supply our crops with some water, even during the dry season. So you have to prepare for that. At times you get some diseases, like some of our trees are affected now. And what you do, you must weather that storm. So you must have enough trees on various sites on your farm to make sure that not all crops are infected. Some of the natural ways of trying to control the spread of disease. You also need to be careful with your timing, because once you bring eggs, you must have enough leaves at that time. But that's where Silk Origin comes in with the expertise to handhold the farmer throughout the whole process of silk farming. Silk farm is a profitable venture. You cannot supply enough of the silk required. The biggest source market has traditionally been China. The destination markets are Japan, America. In Africa, Nigeria is big. The Nigerian dress you see, a good quality one is 1 strand silk, 1 strand cotton, because it keeps cool when it's very hot and then maintains the heat when it's very cold. Because of the various classes, the various levels of quality of silk, that is what will determine what it is used for. For the highest thread will be probably for clothing. The next one will be for bedding, and then you'll have other uses like on stuffing pillows, and there are other cosmetic uses which require a different type of quality for silk. Therefore, the silk quality you produce determines what it will be used for, and that's why we go for top quality each time.
This is where we have our own hatchery. We produce our own eggs. We had collaborated with Isipe and Calro, so that is where they trained us until this stage. Now we can have our own eggs. So this is the first stage of the worms. They are so tiny when they are very young. So when they are young, when they are at the first stage, they don't take they just take a little space. They can't take the whole space in the rearing house. After every 5 days, the eggs mold. By molding, I mean they shed their skin. So they stay for 2 days without feeding. After that day, now they start feeding, and they have progressed to the next stage. So this is the second stage. The worms are now growing. So when they are very at the early stage, you have to chop the leaves. And you take the first 3, as you had seen in the farm, take the first 3 leaves and you chop them with a knife, like sukuma wiki, so that you feed them. That stage now they have grown. As I have said, after every 4 days, the 5th day, they mold. Now this is the 4th stage. It only takes around 28 days to 30, depending with the temperatures and the conditions of your rearing house. If it becomes so cold, like here in Kapete during August and July, there's a time that our worms took 60 days, which really amazed us because the conditions of weather here sometimes go that low. So this is now stage 5 of the worms. This is the final stage. From here now, from stage 5, they won't mold again. Now they just move to there. You have to have the montages. This is called a montage, where the worm will attach. As you can see, this one has now attached itself here. The worm has 2 proteins, sericin and fibrin. So when the worm now starts attaching itself here, it releases through the mouth, through that saliva, spinning. So that's now releasing the thread. A matured cocoon has around 1,200 meters of silk fiber. Yes, which can be now extracted to silk. Yes, so when it attaches itself here, it spins for almost 7 days, 4 days to 7, and then you just leave it for sometimes to dry up, to harden up. After hardening up, now because we are now commercializing the cocoon, you have to make sure you dry it you can use an oven. What you have to do as a farmer, as a silkworm rearing farmer, you have to make sure at the farm, at the onset level, you have to make sure that your plants are well. You can use the organic fertilizer, which we truly encourage that. You can use any other fertilizer. There is also seaweed fertilizer that can get from that you can spray to your leaves, which will make the leaves nutritious to the worm. So the more the nutritious the leaf, the more you'll get the quality cocoon. And that is our intention here as we do this sericulture. typical rearing house should be well ventilated, because when you have a well ventilated rearing house, the leaves will not wither. Even the worms doesn't need higher temperatures beyond 30 degrees and above. So it's better to have a very cool, well ventilated and free from any pests like lizards and rats. Those are some of the pests that can bring setback to the farm. We have done up to 200,000 worms, and we have managed to keep them very healthy because we have enough leaves. Yeah, because first of all, the initial stages, you need to have a mulberry plantation. That mulberry plantation will enable you to feed the worms to any extent, and because we are doing large scale, so we have enough leaves for the worms. We feed them 4 times a day, in the morning, because by midday already they are done with the leaves, so you have to add them some more. Then at around 4 before we leave here, and then there's someone who feeds them at around 7. They really feed like the goats, more than the goats. In fact, I can say more than the goats, especially in the last 2 stages, from stage 4 and 5. Those are the stages that the worms feed so much. We have used the mulberry fruits to make wine. We call tropical fruit wine, because obviously wine is always made with grapes from either South Africa or Egypt. So what happens here, we've used our fruits to make tropical fruit wine, mulberry wine, which is here. We also have the mulberry green tea, which has medicinal value. Yes, it's an antioxidant. It has 3 minerals: iron, calcium, and zinc, which is very good for our health. It reduces pressure and diabetes, sugar, glucose in our bodies. You can extract the 2 proteins that I told you for cosmetic, for making sachets, and several biomedical products.
Ultimately, what we have seen is that sericulture is a powerful, smart opportunity for Kenyan farmers. It all comes down to Moriculture, mastering the drought-resistant mulberry tree that ensures high-quality, valuable fiber. With organizations like Silk Origin Limited strengthening the infrastructure, the future of Kenyan sericulture is bright, offering farmers a genuine pathway to prosperity in the global market. For more stories that celebrate and nourish the African continent, be sure to subscribe to the African Farming Journal. Hit the like and share buttons to help our community grow.